switch me on. Good morning, listeners. It's 9:30, Friday, the 21st of June. The winter equinox, no, winter solstice. Winter solstice. Tonight's the longest night. So starting tomorrow, the evenings start getting lighter, which is great. And you've got to get your Christmas card lists together. This is Wairarapawatch on 92 Arrow FM 92.7, a programme sponsored by Transit Tours. Sign up to their travel club today at www.transittours.co.nz. That's transit with a Z, not an S. And you too can get on the mailing list for their catalogue that comes up. My name's Robin Weaver, and with me is my wife Val. Good morning, Val. And in the studio today we have Robin Innes, the Scots pronunciation. Good morning, Rob.
Good morning, Rob.
How are you? This is going to get confusing, Rob. I can see it coming.
On my Scottish accent, and I know the difference between the two of us.
You've still got it after all this time?
No, most of it's gone.
Okay, well, good morning, Rob, and thank you very much for coming into the studio today. We really appreciate the time you're giving us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having us in.
Okay, now we believe that you're doing a fundraiser concert for Carterton soon at the event centre. Can you tell us all about that?
That's right. It's Heart of Arts, which is a gallery in the main street in Carterton.
You haven't got this. You haven't got
I haven't.
mics on.
I have now. Sorry about that.
Sorry, Rob. It's just that we have to put the
No
the TV
trouble.
on.
Forgot to turn the mics
That's
on.
quite all right. Yes, it's a fundraising cabaret night for the Heart of Arts.
Excuse me a minute. It's still not up there. Okay.
I need to go and talk to a technical.
Right, all right. I'm sorry, Rob. Let's carry on. Sorry, folks,
trouble.
listeners. We do have the TV hooked up to this programme, but at the moment we're not getting the TV part of it. So we'll get
it's
Michael,
about to be remedied, I
the
say.
techo in.
Excuse me, if I may comment. Yes, you are getting the TV part of it. It's just all on Rob at the moment.
Yes.
And as soon as I sort out the thing, eventually you'll be seen, but you can be heard.
We realise we can be heard, but we want to be seen,
Oh
Michael.
no, all on me. That's
No, this
what a
Rob.
responsibility. Oh no, all on you.
It's all about me.
Showtime.
Okay, so let's hear
Showtime.
all about this show then that you've got on for the fundraising event.
Yeah, that's right. It's a fundraising cabaret evening for the Heart of Arts Gallery, which is all run by volunteers. It's been going for about 4 years, and originally was started by the Carterton District Council, and in the early days, but now it's become an independent organisation, incorporated Heart of Arts Gallery. So it's all, as I say, run by volunteers, and they do need to raise funds from
Of
time
course.
to time to keep the gallery going. It's especially open for all levels of artists, potters, photographers like myself, and
Yes, that's
painters.
good,
And it's a great outlet, for people to display their artwork
Yeah.
and just get it out there. So it's
Yeah.
open to all Wairarapa artists,
Yes.
right throughout the whole region.
Yeah.
And
And
great
so
to
the
get
evening
some-
you're doing then, when will that be?
that's going to be on the 27th of July,
Okay.
and that's 7:30 to 10:30
Oh, wow.
at the
That's a good show.
Carterton Event Centre.
Yeah.
That's a week tomorrow,
So-
folks, so mark that in your diary.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be a really good, fun night.
Yeah.
Lots of music from the 50s, 60s and 70s.
Love it.
Oh, our era.
And
yeah.
we're going to have a silent auction as well.
Yeah.
And I encourage people always to get up and dance and sing along, because
Yeah.
most of them will know the songs.
Of course.
The younger ones will know them because their parents or grandparents have
Yeah.
played them over the years.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
a lot of good music came out of those eras.
Oh, they certainly did. They don't write songs like that anymore, do
No,
they?
they don't. No,
No.
they've lost the art.
So, where do we get tickets for this show?
Now, tickets will be available at the Heart of Arts Gallery in High Street in Carterton. So just ask the person that's on duty there.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So you
Yeah,
can you can't go through Event Finder. You have to.
no, it's all
through
sales, and they're limited to 150. And
Oh,
actually,
okay.
we had a meeting yesterday, and they're almost all sold. So if you want to come along and have this good fun night, be quick, because
Well, you guys carry on. I'll go and get a couple of tickets.
Go and get a couple of tickets, Rob, right now.
the tickets are just about all gone. We're scrounging around for different people to bring in one or two that they may still have, that they haven't sold. So
Yeah. Okay.
Who
Oh well,
knows?
we'll definitely, when we've done the show, we'll definitely go down there and make sure that we get in.
So how much are the
Sounds
tickets,
good.
Rob? How much?
Oh, $25,
$25.
which we've been told is very reasonable for a great night out.
Absolutely.
And, supper provided. It's a BYO, so as long as people
really?
remember that.
Yeah.
Which makes the evening less expensive as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So you can bring your own wine or
Yes,
beer or whatever.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, excellent.
Just not truckloads of it.
That's a
you know.
plus.
Oh, no.
That's a definite plus then, isn't it?
Yeah.
Also, yeah. So, Rob, tell us, how long have you been singing itself and entertaining?
Really? Oh, I started singing. I was actually born in Germany. Here's the start.
Oh,
I was
gosh.
an army brat.
Oh, right.
Dad was in the British Army of the Rhine, and the families after the war was over were invited to go and help rebuild the infrastructure there. So
Yeah.
Dad was busy doing that, and I was born there in '46 and lived there till I was 4. And I know how to used to be able to say where Mum's slippers were, because we had a German maid who used to teach me a bit of German.
Oh,
so
okay.
I knew how to say unter Mutti's Bett. That's where the slippers were. Yeah. Under Mother's bed.
Oh, brilliant.
But from there back to Scotland when I was 4, so of course I didn't have the Scottish accent by then, and although I can put it on when I have to.
German with a Scottish accent
Oh,
should be
yeah, that's
interesting.
interesting. So yeah, that was a great experience travelling around while Dad was in the forces. He joined the Air Force after the war, so we went to Cyprus and then back to England and lived in Blackpool, and then back up to Scotland again, and then out to New Zealand when Dad retired. So
Oh, God. So you moved schools a lot then?
I went to 13 different schools, I think it was, 13 or 14.
Oh,
yeah.
my goodness.
Which at first I hated, because
Yes.
it's always, really nerve-wracking for a young
Yes, of
child
course
starting
it
a
is.
new school.
Of course it
But
is.
then after about the 10th one, I started to get used to it.
Yeah.
But no, great experience. Very privileged to have been around and seen the things we did as a family. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, my dad was in the Navy, so we
Oh.
couldn't follow him around.
No, a bit hard.
So when did
Yeah.
your singing career
So,
begin?
proper singing career, I guess, started. I started back when I was 4 in Germany. I got up on the stage in the officers' mess, the club, and sang "Put Another Nickel In." I think that was my
Oh,
very
yes.
first performance.
Love that song.
So from there, of course, I just carried on. My sisters and I used to sing while we were doing the dishes, and
Yeah.
I just loved singing all the time. And then it wasn't until in New Zealand here, back in the late 60s, early 70s, I started getting into singing up in Auckland, and did a few circuits around there with guys like Ray Wolf and
Oh, yeah.
several other entertainers, the
Yes.
Chicks. They were up there
gosh.
entertaining at the time. We did a lot of voluntary stuff in hospitals, and
Yeah.
so, but then I suffered a real severe attack of the nerves.
Yeah.
I used to get really ill before I had to get out and
I
sing.
wanted to talk to you about
So,
that. I mean,
yeah.
you hear a lot of people say that, a lot of entertainers say they have stage fright, and you can't believe it because they're so, out there.
Yeah.
So how did that develop?
I guess I always had it there. Always got really nervous. Sometimes it used to get, almost overwhelming.
Oh, really?
And yet people said when I got out on stage,
Yeah.
they said, "You don't look nervous at all, breeze."
Well,
I
once you
said,
get out there,
Yeah.
once you get out and get going, and the crowd's not
Yeah.
throwing rotten eggs and apples
Yeah.
at you or something.
Yeah, that is the
it's
scary thing,
that
I
kind of-
suppose, isn't it? Yeah.
It's encouraging when you see them smiling back.
yes,
Yeah.
or even a bit of applause now and then.
With
that
a bit
helps.
of applause, yeah. And of course, Sandra was a great motivator for me to get back into singing.
Yes.
She really helped me in a big way to get my nerve back, and said, "Come on, get out there, do it." And
Yeah.
so I have to take
Now-
my hat off to Sandra for being so
And it
supportive.
was due to your wife Sandra that encouraged you to do the quest, wasn't it? The New Zealand.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Talent
New Zealand's
Quest.
Got Talent.
Yes.
2013.
How did that go? How did you feel about that?
Again, those nerves came back again,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Yeah, once you get out there and get into it, it's good. As the series developed, I think probably the worst stage was the middle stage, you know, the semi-finals.
Yes.
And then getting into the final,
Yeah.
I seemed to overcome the nerves a lot better. Did
Well,
make
you'd be
the
pretty
knife.
confident by then. If you're in the finals, you've got a good
Yeah.
chance of...
Well, yeah, we were really I mean, I honestly didn't expect to get so far, but to get into, I think it was number 7. Yeah.
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 So we keep glancing to our left and right here because Sandra's in the studio with us, but she's
I
taken a back
know.
seat at the
Yeah,
moment.
she's taking a back seat.
As
She doesn't
always,
want to-
look, she doesn't mind being in the back seat, but,
Well, she's been
you can do a lot of guiding and steering from the back
You
seat.
can.
Yes, as well you know.
Oh,
All your
yeah.
confidence has come back due to your wonderful wife, Sandra. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us then, has this music you do, has it taken you around the country? Has it taken you to places further afield?
Yes, we were, well, actually we got approached right out of the blue by an organisation called Every Home Global Concern, and they heard my music on the Southern Star program, which is part of the REMA Broadcasting Group, and contacted me, asked me if I'd be their New Zealand ambassador for its worldwide outreach, a bit like Tier Fund and things like that.
Oh, okay.
They actually don't advertise most, everything they have in donations, and they have a lot of volunteers, goes directly to buying mosquito nets for children in Africa, making water wells, teaching them how to farm, all this sort of stuff. So they've been doing it since 1946, which is when I was born.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
And really great organisation. So I checked them out, and they checked me out, and I said, yeah, they look really good. And so we started doing fundraising concerts right throughout New Zealand. I think we did 3 circuits, just about from the top to the bottom, which was amazing. I mean, that was
Yeah.
a pretty hard schedule. Sometimes
Yeah.
we were doing sort of 4 or 5 concerts a week. And but no, it was great. We raised enough to supply about 10,000, around about 10,000 mosquito nets.
Wow.
At $10 each, which was a bargain. They purchased them in Africa
Yeah.
and then distributed them to the poorest of the poor villages around Malawi and Zambia were the 2 areas. And then there used to be a song out years and years ago, was "Lord, please don't send me to Africa." And I used to think, yeah, I never want to go to that place, Oh, and guess what? Rob and Sandra, would you like to volunteer to go to Africa to help distribute those mosquito nets?
Well,
So
of
we
course you
did.
said.
So we ended up there for nearly 3 weeks, I think.
And what kind of experience was that?
Oh, that was life-changing, actually.
Was it?
To see how, I mean, you see it on television, about the poverty and about the sickness, and it doesn't quite get you until you're right in the middle of
I
it.
think you have to see
And
it,
yet
don't you?
those people that are in the midst of that are happy, they're so grateful,
Yes.
and they will give. They had nothing, but they'll give of what they have. And there was a real lesson in that, to see just how grateful they were. They said, please tell the people of New Zealand, doesn't matter whether it's only $1 or $100 or whatever, it makes a world of difference to us here, and we really are grateful. So that was an eye-opener, just to meet those beautiful people.
Absolutely. And Sandra's able to go with you when you
Yes,
do these travels, which is
both
wonderful.
managed to rake up by doing a few fundraising efforts of our own to get over there, but we did, and we wouldn't change that experience for anything. It was
So what's the name of the organisation again, Rob?
Every Home Global Concern.
Every Home Global Concern.
It's the humanitarian
Okay. Well, let's listen to some of your music now then. I've talk about it. Let the listeners hear your wonderful voice. We have heard it, and we've watched you on YouTube, and we are very impressed.
Okay.
So hopefully our listeners will be also. And what we're going to play.
Well, it's Rob and his version of Green Green Grass of Home. Is that the one you chose, Rob?
Yeah.
That sounds good, Rob.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's
Why
hear
don't
that.
we play that one? And there we go.
Well, the old hometown looks the same as I step down from that train, and there to meet me is my mama and my papa. Down the lane I look, and there runs Mary, hair of gold and lips like cherries. It's good to touch that green, green grass of home. Yes, they're all come to meet me, arms reaching, smiling sweetly. Well, it's good to touch that green, green grass of home. Well, the old house is still standing, though the paint is cracked and dry. And there's that old oak tree that I used to play on. Down the lane I look, and there runs Mary, hair of gold and lips like cherries. It's good to touch that green, green grass of home. And then I awake, and I look around me. Yes, at those four gray walls that surround me. And I realize, yes, I was only dreaming. And there's a guard, and there's a sad old padre. Arm in arm, we're gonna walk at daybreak. And again, I'll touch that green, green grass of home. Yes, they're all come to see me 'neath the shade of that old oak tree, as they lay me 'neath the green, green grass of home.
There you go, Robin Innes's version of Green Green Grass of Home. I'm sure Tom Jones will be proud of you with that. So,
Really wonderful.
it's 9:47 and it's Friday the 21st of June, the winter solstice.
Yeah.
So tonight's the longest night, folks, so you can sleep in tomorrow morning. This is Wairarapawatch on Arrow FM 92.7, a programme sponsored by Transit Tours, and they recommend that you get off the beaten track and explore the country with transittours.co.nz. My name's Robin Weaver, and my wife Val is with me, and in the studio today we have Rob Innes, who just sung that song that you just heard.
Beautiful voice, Rob. We really
you, Val.
appreciate you bringing in your CD, and we'll hear another track as we go on through the conversation we've got with you this morning. So you have won a few awards, haven't you, for your singing?
Yes, not too many, but the odd one here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the first was the TUI Music Awards.
Mm-hmm.
I was a finalist for the Best Original Song in 2004, and then again in 2005.
Okay.
And then top artist on Radio Rima's Southern Star Radio, having a #1 most requested song 3 years running, which was just absolutely amazing. I just thought that was a real privilege to have had that.
Oh, that's an honour, isn't
bonus.
it? Absolutely.
So it's been quite a good roller coaster ride, and especially really just getting into the singing career in my mid to late 50s.
Yes.
Seriously.
Okay.
A lot of people, I always encourage people, never ever say that it's too late, because, getting signed to EMI recording was a huge
my goodness.
coup.
Yeah.
And I never dreamed that would ever happen, but it just
And you
shows.
were in your 50s then?
I was in my late 50s then.
Good grief. Well, congratulations to you, Rob.
Oh,
That's
thank
amazing.
you. No, it's
well impressed.
it's just been really encouraging, so I always encourage other people to say, look, don't ever think, especially young people, don't ever think it's too late.
No.
Just keep plugging away and keep following your dream and get into it.
Yeah.
Bit of a cliche, but it's true.
It's true.
Excuse me, I'm just going to have to.
Yeah.
The reason for that is chasing that dog out of a dam.
Yeah.
Chasing the dog out to the dam.
Or farm
Tell us
sitting.
about that. Farm sitting.
Farm sitting recently with Sandra. Went out to look after her brother's place. 300 acres and 5 horses, 2 lovely, cute little dogs, a few sheep and cattle, and so it kept us busy. But one particular afternoon, when it was a horrendous, rainy, wet, cold day, I went out for a walk with one of our cute little dogs that cuddles up to us, and the next thing there was a sheep that didn't do as it was told to go through a gate, and he decided he wanted it to go his way, and the sheep wanted to go another way, and the dog got angrier because the sheep wouldn't do what it was told. Cut a long story short, the dog ended up chasing it into a dam, and the sheep was submerged totally and then bobbed up, and the dog was sitting on its back on all fours, hanging onto the sheep's ear, and it was going round and round like a little boat in the dam. So I'm going from one side of the dam to the other to try and pull them out, and every time I got to the other side, the sheep decided to swim across with the dog still on its back. And so finally I managed to get the dog by the tail and pull it out. And then waited for Sandra to come down because she heard the shouting. Of course, I was yelling at this dog to get off the sheep, to no avail. But so I kind of lost my voice. So if you hear a bit of a croak coming through, it's because I leapt into the dam and got gumboots full of water, which I poured out about half an hour later. Must have been about 3 or 4 cupfuls of water in my gumboots, and saved the dog, saved the sheep, managed to save myself from drowning. So that was a bit of an eventful afternoon. So that was a long story to tell you why I had to clear my throat.
Yeah,
What fun.
yeah, and we now do forgive you for having a
thank
croaky
you so
voice.
much.
Now tell us about your grandchildren. I believe that we were told you had 13, but
Yeah.
now you've got another 2.
Yeah, overnight it's changed to 15.
So is that twins?
Yeah, we got 15 grandchildren now, ranging from 19 years old
But
down
the two you've just had, they're not twins.
No, that wasn't
No.
overnight.
No.
No, I was just saying it's overnight since we
wrote
printed
this.
those sheep. But the youngest is around about 18 months old,
Right.
and the eldest 19. So, yeah, Sandra and I have got 6 daughters between us, 3 daughters each, and yeah, all these grandchildren. Most of mine are in Australia.
I was going to say where are they all spread out?
They're fair dinkum Aussies now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Outside Melbourne, and then Sandra's family, the 3 girls, are in the Hutt Valley, so we get to see them
Oh, you get to see
reasonably regularly.
Good,
Yeah.
good. Okay, that's excellent.
Climbing over that darned hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they mind that? Do they mind coming over the hill to you? At all?
Well, we go over the hill.
Oh, you do,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right.
Now and again they come over, like the daffodil time.
Yeah.
Come and see the Daffodil Express, and so it's a family outing. Yeah, which is always good.
Oh, brilliant.
Fantastic.
So, we do believe that you're also a photographer. So I just went into Gallery 23 yesterday to have a look, and I was very, very impressed. There's some beautiful photography work you've
thank
got
you.
on show there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
so-
something else that's just sort of developed
Yeah.
with a passion since we moved to Carterton just a couple of years ago. And of course I was forced into retirement. I worked till I was 69, and Sandra's recently been made redundant. So when was that? Last September, I think. So yeah, I decided, well, I needed something to get my teeth into as well as the singing. So got a camera. Used to take a bit of photo back in the early days, in the film days. I took a few and did 1 or 2 weddings for friends, and that was nerve-wracking because with film,
That
you don't
would
get
be.
it right. That's
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
Can't go back
One
and do
shot.
it again. So
Yeah.
fortunately,
Your
they
name's-
turned out okay. But that's something else that, when family came along, children and things like that, it all just went by the board, and I sold all my gear. But since being here, got back into it again, bought myself a digital camera, and just
So you're in a camera club? Anything
yes,
like that,
joined
yeah?
the Wairarapa
There is one, isn't
Camera
there? Yeah.
Club, which is an excellent club. growing fast. Lots of members, very very healthy club. So I enter the competitions in there, and it's been really good learning curve, because you never stop learning.
You
It's like
never,
anything.
no.
Learn something new every day, and
Yeah.
so even though I think my photos may not be good enough, Sandra says, "Yeah, go on."
Yeah.
Sandra again, put them in.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
so it's all
Yeah.
good. Sometimes they get somewhere, and sometimes they don't. But you
Yeah.
learn something about them with the critiquing that goes on from
Yeah.
other professional photographers. And
Yeah,
No,
for
it's all
our
been good.
listeners, I do urge you to go into Gallery 23 on Holloway Street to have a look at Bob's work. It's I love the train. That's what he's taken a photograph of the steam train coming into Carterton Station, and on Daffodil Day, and that really took my eye.
thank you.
And your
Yeah.
clock, the clock tower.
yes, the Carterton clock.
Yeah, so
it's a real
please do go
icon.
in and see them. They're really quite something special. So do you all your photography is taken around Carterton area now? Is it now that you're here? You
Most
live here
most of
now?
it is here in Wellington,
Yeah.
in the region.
Yeah.
And if we go away anywhere, of course, the camera's got to go. A few shots taken around the Auckland area,
Yeah.
but mainly the Wairarapa. Yeah,
So when did you come to settle here?
would be just on 2 years ago. We were living in Upper Hutt. And decided we needed to downsize, which is just as well, because at that time Sandra was working and I was working, and then I got made redundant probably just a couple of years before we moved here. And we decided, well, we might retrench, so we looked around and finally settled in Carterton, found a lovely little 2-bedroom place and downsized, and then as I say, fortunately, because Sandra was made redundant, we would have really been in the cart with a big mortgage if we'd stayed in Upper Hutt.
Yeah.
So the fact that we moved here was a real blessing.
Yeah. And you love it.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
love it. There's
It is.
lots more to see and do than a lot of people would think.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
There is.
incredible.
It's a great little town.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, we've just sized down. We built in Armstrong Avenue, and then we've just sized down and moved, and it's great. It's just lock up and go,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
brilliant. Little spit of a lawn, and off
Yeah.
we go, which is
Same
what,
with
what
us.
you
We've
want
got
to do too.
Lawn takes me about 15 minutes if
Yes,
it's not too long. and
yes.
That's great.
That's all it should take.
Oh
Yeah.
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 You got any more than that? Why?
I know. Yeah.
Oh well, let's listen to another track of yours then. What we're going to play now,
We're
Rob.
going to play number 8. Oh no, we've done that one.
Yeah,
11.
Number
I think
11
it's
on this
number
one.
11.
Unforgettable.
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 Beautiful
One of my
track.
favourite love songs.
Alrighty, here we go. I think.
Unforgettable, that's what you are. Unforgettable, no near or far. Like a song of love that clings to me, how the thought of you does things to me. Never before has someone been more unforgettable in every way, and forevermore, that's how you'll stay. That's why, darling, it's incredible that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too. Like a song of love that clings to me, how the thought of you does things to me. Never before has someone been more unforgettable in every way, and forevermore, that's how you'll stay. That's why, darling, it's incredible that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too.
There you go, Robert in his version of Unforgettable. And it's, 10:01 a.m. And this is Wairarapawatch on our Arrow FM 92.7, a programme sponsored by Transit Tours, who exhort you to get off the beaten track and explore the country. And you can get on Transit Tours mailing list by going onto their website at www.transittours.co.nz. That's transit with a Z. My name's Robin Weaver, and with me is my wife Val, and we're talking with Rob Innes at the moment in the studio.
Well, Rob's going to tell us all about the nerve factor of performing. We'd love to hear about your stories to do with that, because it must be quite...
Probably doesn't affect everybody like it affected me, but I do recall one time nerves really getting the better of me, and that's when I did a performance. It was I think it was one of my very first live TV performances, and they had the van sitting outside the Founders Theatre in Hamilton, and there were quite a few well-known entertainers there at the time, and they'd asked me to sing 2 songs, one live and one just for the theatre audience. But it would have to be the live one that the nerves really kicked in. And I was singing a song that had just been released at the time called Bobby McGee. You might well remember that one.
Absolutely.
And I got to the second verse and my mind just went totally blank. And I could feel the fear rising up. I thought, what am I going to do now? So I just sang any old rubbish that came into my mind and hoped that it rhymed. And I thought, talk about blowing it on live television. And I got off the stage, my head was down, and I felt totally destroyed. And Suzanne Lynch was there at the time, who used to be one of the chicks.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And she came up, she says, "What's the matter with you, Rob?" I said, "Didn't you hear that?" I said, "Every single word of that second verse was absolutely total rubbish." I said, "It didn't make any sense." She said, "I never noticed." She said, "And the audience obviously didn't, so what are you worried about?"
Oh, that's wonderful, yeah.
I got away with it. But hey, that's the kind of thing that nerves can do for you. You know, it's... then I think I did another TV performance on this Studio One, which some of the listeners might remember back in 1969. Those of us that are old enough to remember 1969.
We weren't in the country at the time.
No, we weren't. No.
I got into the final of that, but there again, you know, nerves really played. But once I got out there in front of the cameras and some of the crew, the crew, excuse me, say dog again. Yeah, not a frog, a dog.
Dog and a dumb, yeah.
It was good. It was a good time. Got into the final of that. I think one of the songs I sang was Things. Every night I sit here by my window.
Yeah.
That one there got me through to the semis, and then I sang By the Time I Get to Phoenix, which had just been released by Glenn Campbell.
Okay.
I think it was about 68 or 69. And, missed out getting the top awards, but hey, it was great to be a finalist anyway.
Absolutely, and the experience of it too.
The experience.
Because TV was
good.
quite early then, wasn't it? Quite new at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's... That was black and white, I'm pretty sure.
Yes,
it was still black and white.
It was. Yeah.
So there's a difference between being in a studio recording in front of TV cameras and being on a stage in front of an audience, is there?
Yes, there's a different kind of a pressure on. You know, you've got time constraints and it's go now, and, you know, when it's live, of course, you can't go back and do another take. So... If you,
that is a point.
If you happen to sing a bum note, you know, as Peter Sellers used to say when he's putting on his Irish accent, everyone hears it, of course. Yeah. And if you blink at the wrong time or whatever, it's all out there.
Yeah.
Not so bad if it's a recorded TV session. They can go back and say, I think we better take that again, you know. But yeah, in front of a live audience, I think. Actually, I probably prefer a live audience because I do enjoy feedback and that rapport with the audience, getting them with you and getting them to relax. And, you know, sometimes you usually always find at least one person that'll yell out some, fortunately, nice friendly comments, you know. And so you get a bit of a banter going with them and the crowd love it. So, yeah, live performing is a different set of circumstances, but... pretty enjoyable.
What do you prefer?
I think I prefer live performance. Yes. Yeah. A lot of people don't, but I do prefer live performance.
Oh, come on, you've got to tell us, have you ever bombed completely?
No, quite honestly, no.
Good on you. Well done.
I looked at Sandra then, she says no. And she's been with me through it all, so... The only time, if you could call it a bomb, is we organised a fundraising concert down in the South Island. And we've been in touch with these people for months and months to organise this, give them plenty of time to sell. I said, now, can you make sure that you sell... We're only charging $10 a ticket. And the whole $10 didn't go to us. It went to Every Home Global Concern for mosquito nets. So every single cent was put into that effort. So the ladies concerned said, yes, we'll have no trouble selling it. We'll get out there and do it, you know. And we were in touch quite regularly, and the feedback was, yes, no, fine, it'll be at such and such a school hall. So we arrived at this little town in the South Island on quite a cold and sort of windy afternoon to set up my sound gear, and couldn't see anybody. So I think there was a caretaker there that let us into the school hall, and the chairs were all stacked up. So Sandra and I got cracking and took all the chairs down, put them out, and set up everything ourselves, you see. And then two people arrived, and they were two people that had heard about the concert on Southern Star Radio. And they arrived and said, well, where is everybody? And I said, well, actually, we're asking that question too. So I performed to these two lovely ladies and Sandra and another lady that came in who had told us that she'd organised everything. So there were four of them sitting out there, and I still did my show. Yeah. And we had a marvellous time. We did. So even that didn't bomb really. Right. The only bomb was that no one arrived.
Yeah.
And but you get that in small towns.
Oh, it was that was at the time it was pretty devastating, you know. But as they say, the show's got to go on, and even if it's 2 people or 2,000 people or 20,000 people, I'd like to think that I still give my best. And
of course,
the ladies enjoyed it. I think, in fact, they got up and danced, didn't they? Sam? The three of them were up dancing. Yeah. So, hey, brilliant. It was great.
But what's your most favourite?
My most favourite experience? Yeah, that's hard to say.
Rivals of New Zealand's Got Talent.
probably the finals of New Zealand's Got Talent.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Even though that was TV and probably more nerve-wracking, it was singing with that live band was an awesome experience. In fact, the musical director, actually has done some of my backing, saxophone playing and flute on some of my recordings, CDs, and he was just marvellous. And to get out there and sing Mac the Knife, out there with the live band, the trombones and the trumpets, I've never actually experienced that before. I've always had either small bands or just backing tracks that I use when I'm out performing. But that was an incredible experience, and I actually really did enjoy myself. And even though it was live TV, I thought, oh well, it's the final. Let's just get out and have fun. And good.
And the band behind you would push you.
Amazing musicians, violins, trombones, sax, the whole shaboodle, like a mini orchestra. And it was a great experience.
So on that particular show then, Rob, you are actually coached in some way, are you?
Again, Suzanne Lynch was there again as a vocal coach, and just coaching people that possibly had no experience at all, and even those of us that had a bit of experience. As I say, you can never stop learning. So she was coaching on movements and where to stand, and
she remembered you, did she?
She did. She
cool.
did. Yeah. From all those years back.
So they really are a help.
They do. They're a great help, and especially to the younger artists too that really get nervous. They do a great job, the coaches, of settling them down and giving them more confidence. And
so that whole experience for you would have been quite amazing.
Oh it was good. Most of them were young. I was the granddad of the competition, of course.
Some of them would be their first time out, would it?
Yeah, some of them. Some of them had done stuff in their own hometowns and things like that. So
but there's a lot of older people coming onto those shows now, isn't there? Because I mean, there's no age to anyone today, is there? I mean, whatever you do, just go out there and give it a go, give it a go,
and no, it was good, and I felt quite privileged to have got through to the top 10 out of 4,500 auditioned. I think it was something like that. So. I thought, maybe I've still got a little bit left in me yet.
Because it's quite a process. So, good on you for getting that far. And it's such a big show too. Rachel would have been lovely, would she? What's she like?
Yeah, Rachel. She was my favourite there.
She's got such a lovely
She was
soul,
100% behind me all the way. Yeah, she's got a soft heart, Rachel.
Yeah. Brilliant. Now that would be really tremendous to be in front of people like that, because I mean they've been there, done it all, haven't they themselves? So
that's right.
Quite an honour for you to be there.
I think just almost as good, maybe as good as that, was my very first, the first auditions, which were held at the St James Theatre. For New Zealand's Got Talent.
Okay.
And that's where I sang Neil Diamond's. Sweet Caroline. Oh. Gee, just as well you're here, darling. I sing a few of Neil Diamond's, but Sweet Caroline, and then the whole audience was up on their feet.
They do this, don't they?
And they were the judges were getting into it, and I got really good, tremendous feedback from the audience and from the judges. And I got off the stage. I said to Sandra, that was just awesome. It was a good feeling to. It does my heart good to see people enjoying themselves.
Yes.
And I mean, that's why people entertain, I think.
Yeah.
It's not for the glory or anything. It's really to be able to share your gift and see other people enjoying themselves as well.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the most important thing. If people didn't enjoy my performance, I'd quit tomorrow. I'd just go, that's it. What's the point?
Yeah.
You've got to have people enjoying what you do as well. And it just makes everything worthwhile. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that we hopefully will get tickets for this show. on Saturday, Saturday the 27th, 7:30 till 10:30 at the Carterton Event Centre. The tickets are $25 if there's any left.
Yeah.
We just hope there is.
And there won't be door sales, by the way.
No door sales.
Door sales.
And you have to get your tickets from the Carterton Event Centre.
From the
Heart of Arts.
Heart of Arts.
Heart of Arts.
Gallery.
Okay,
Yes.
from
In
the
the
gallery
High Street.
itself on the High Street. Okay, and it's a buffet supper provided, and there will be, and it's BYO refreshments.
BYO, that's right.
Okay. And there's a silent auction too. What's all that about? What does that mean?
Yeah, silent auction is where we've approached, certain businesses and that to donate a product or a service.
Okay.
And the silent auction, it's a bit of fun. You have a sheet out and maybe someone writes their name in and puts $10 beside it, beside that item. And then as the evening goes on, someone else might come along and say, I'll put another $5 on there. And
right.
So you get up to whatever. It doesn't matter if you're paying more for something that's worth less. The whole thing is that it's fundraising. So you may pay twice as much for an item that it's actually worth, but it's all the fun of being part of the auction.
And it is fundraising after all.
Yeah, it's fundraising. And so at the end of the evening, they just go through and whoever's put the highest bid down wins that service or item.
So that's another a thing happening at the event centre on Saturday night.
And I hear they've got a reasonable entertainer there for the evening as well.
Yes, absolutely. And they'll be dancing.
Some chap we've met before somewhere.
This entertainer will have everybody up dancing.
Oh, yes, he'll definitely get them up dancing and singing along if they want to. So
Rob Innes,
it's all about having
you're going to be amazing. Absolutely.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for coming in today. We've really learned a lot from you, and your career has just taken you so far, and it will continue to do so.
I hope so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you've got a wonderful, wonderful voice.
Thank you very much for having us in here today.
Hearing it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And we're going to play something
completely different now.
Yeah. What have we got?
Little Richard and Jerry Lee Lewis. Doing I Saw Her Standing There.
Oh, yeah.
You'll like this one.
Thank you again, Rob.
Thank you.
Here we go. Oops.
She was just 17, you know what I mean, and the way she looked was way beyond compare. Oh, how could I dance with another when I saw her standing there? Well, she looked at me, and I could plainly see, before too long I'd fall in love with her. She wouldn't dance with another, oh, when I saw her standing there. Well, my heart went boom when I crossed that room, and I held her little hand in mine. Oh, we danced right through the night, and we held each other tight, and before too long I fell in love with her. Now I'll never dance with another when I saw her standing there. Well, my heart went boom when I crossed that room, and I held her little hand in mine. Oh, we danced right through the night, and we held each other tight, and before too long I fell in love with her. Now I'll never dance with another when I saw her standing there. I saw her standing there. One more, baby. When I saw her standing there.
Yeah, not exactly Rob Innes, but lovely song nonetheless. So thank you very much to Little Richard and Jerry Lee Lewis there. Now, I've just lost the thing. Here we are.
All right, we just need to tell you all about what's happening around town. I've got... Now, I must tell the listeners here, we went to see Nell Gwyn last night, and it was amazing. Absolutely top-notch, this show. It's going until the 22nd. Oh, it's tomorrow.
Yep.
It finishes tomorrow.
It's tonight and tomorrow. That's
tonight and tomorrow. But if you haven't seen it, please get yourself along there. It's a rollicking good laugh. Did you think so, Rob?
I did indeed.
Yeah.
And as it says on the piece of paper here, it starts promptly at 7:30 p.m. If you're late, you're late.
You're late.
And that's it.
Because when it starts, you have to be there.
Yeah,
it's really good fun.
There. Peter will make sure you're in your seat.
Yeah, and then the other one I've got for you is Rathgill and St Matthew's Senior College are going to present Guys and Dolls, and that will be at their new venue, 22 Intermediate Street, and that's going to be on between the 28th of June to the 23rd of July. And these kids are extremely talented, and it's definitely a must-see. So get your tickets for that from tickets at Event Finder, Guys and Dolls.
So I've just got this one here, which we've probably mentioned before, but Pukaha are organising the Pukaha Mount Bruce Garden Tour, and they're looking for green-fingered individuals who are willing to open their garden up to the public for an annual fundraiser. Now, if you've got a nice, it doesn't matter whether it's a wild garden or a carefully trimmed box hedge Italian-style garden, Pukaha would love to hear from you, and excuse me, and to get in touch with them via garden tour at pukaha.org.nz. Remember that, Pukaha, or garden tour at pukaha.org.nz, or on the mobile 021 0272 4266. So Del would like to hear from you and to help organise this tour. And I'm sure if Dell's organising it, it's going to be great. And it's going to take place over the weekend of November the 9-10. So, as I say, if you've got a garden that people would like to see, whether it be wild or neatly trimmed Italian style, get in touch with Del on 021 0272 4266 and tell her all about it. She'd love to put it on the list of gardens to be visited. And we've mentioned this before, the riding for disabled, and I'm not sure that they have anybody respond, but we're still looking for people to work with New Zealand Riding for Disabled down at Johnston Street. So if you're willing to help disabled people ride horses, all you have to do is walk beside the horse. You don't have to ride it yourself. You don't have to tack it up. You don't have to shovel out the stables, but it all helps. Get in touch with Linda Tankersley, who's the president of the Wairarapa NZRDA, on 06 372 5568, or Maggie Dickinson on 021 048 6477. So that's just to help with New Zealand Riding for the Disabled. Yeah,
they are looking for people. Yeah, they're short of people to help.
Yeah.
And as Rob said, you don't have to be a horsey person at all. You just need to be alongside the horse while the disabled people are riding.
That's it. Just maybe hold the rein if it's a kiddie, but the horses know their way around the traps.
Of course they do.
And it could turn them loose and they'll go around on their own. But just for a safety factor, they have to have somebody walk beside the horse. You never know with a backfire on the road outside could make them a little scared. I doubt it. I think these horses have been doing it for long enough to know.
They know where they're going.
Everything. Just get on with it. So we got anything else to mention? The Maori Side Steppers?
Oh, yes. When's that on?
The Maori Side Maori Side Steps, who are guaranteeing that you'll stamp your hands and clap your feet, which is a novel approach I'd like to see. You can book now on Event Finder. It's at the Carterton Event Centre on the 28th of June. That's a week tonight at 7 p.m. So visit an iSite near you or to eventfinder.co.nz. Book now for Maori Sidesteps. Yeah.
And I think that's about it, isn't it? We've got
last chance to watch, as I said, Nell Gwyn tonight and tomorrow night. That's it. If you miss it, you've missed it. So there we go. I think that's, as you say, that's about it for today. Next week we'll be talking with, and I've just slipped
Pukaha.
Pukaha, Helen Cordery from Pukaha about their wedding facilities.
They've got a wedding facility
things
now.
Things that are happening at Pukaha.
Yeah. And we're also having a ranger come to talk to us as well from Pukaha.
He or she will be interesting. Yeah, indeed. So tune in again next week. So that'll be great. So thank you, listeners and TV viewers. Make sure I address you too. You've been listening to or have just missed Wairarapawatch, a weekly magazine program about life in the Wairarapa. And from Val and I, it's goodbye and good luck and with whatever you might be doing.
Have a wonderful weekend and be safe.
Yep, lovely. I'll just play us out on a little bit of music here on Freddie Fender's Wasted Days and Wasted Nights. Sure you'll love it.
Wasted days and wasted nights I have left for you behind, for you don't belong to me. Your heart belongs to someone else. Why should I keep loving you when I know that you're not true? And why should I call your name when you're the blame for making me blue? Don't you remember the day that you went away and left me? I was so lonely, praying for you only, my love. Why should I keep loving you when I know that you're not true? And why should I call your name when you're the blame for making me blue? Why should I keep loving you when I know that you're not true? And why should I call your name when you're to blame for making me blue?